What's up, everybody? It's your boy Toxeyboyo coming at you with another Death Battle reaction. This time it's Galactus, the consumer of worlds from Marvel Comics, and Unicron, the consumer of worlds from Transformers. Um, I'm a big Transformers fan, although, okay, so when I say I'm a big Transformers fan, I mean I had a lot of Transformers toys when I was a kid. I watched Transformers Prime and like Rescue Bots and some Beast Wars reruns when they would play late at night, and like there was another Transformers show that would play at like 6 a.m. that I catch a little bit when I was like getting up and getting ready for school. I've seen all the live action movies. Transformers 1 was a fantastic movie. I also like the 1985 film quite a lot, and I think that Peter Cullen is one of the greatest voice actors to ever live. That being said, never read a Transformers comic in my life. Okay, so I want to make that very clear. I love Transformers from afar. I am probably like the most heavily involved casual fan that you could be in a franchise like this. Cool. And as for Marvel, there's no my relationship with Marvel Comics by this point. The characters, I love a lot of the movies, and I love a lot of the stories from the comics. I just can't really be fussed to read too many Marvel comics at this point in my life because there's always something weird happening, and Zeb Wells won't let go. and I just I want to move on past him. Even Dan Slott to a certain degree, you know. Spider-Man specifically. Spider-Man in the comics has had a garbage reputation for the last almost 20 years because of Civil War and yada yada yada. You know the deal. But Galactus, I think, is a very interesting concept as a villain. I don't think he's the most interesting character, but luckily he gave us Silver Surfer, who I freaking think is thick. But yeah, we got Galactus versus Unicron. Sounds pretty simple. We're gonna dive right in. As always, we're skipping the preamble and going straight to the fight because, like I said before, what they show before the fight does not always impact the flow of the combat that you see in the video or the outcome. They will break it down again later. That's what we're going to react to. So I'm looking at Fortnite Galactus. I want to mention something. There's a common misconception that like Galactus is some sort of like fixed being in the Marvel multiverse. They think that like every time you see Galactus in something that it's the same guy. That's Darkseid, not Galactus. Fortnite Galactus and Fantastic Four First Steps Galactus and Superhero Squad Galactus and Ultimate Alliance Galactus, 4 different Galactuses. That's not the same guy. That's not how he works. Ooh. I just want to point something out. Galactus' size is very much subject to variation. Remember when the trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps came out last year, people were upset that like he was small enough to walk through the streets of New York. Well, he wanted something that was in New York, right? So what's the point of being huge? But he can be bigger than the planet that he wants to consume. That's something that he has control over. There is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just something really funny to me about Galactus not realizing or not seeing this gigantic robot planet until it was right outside orbit. That's funny to me.
Halt. This planet is mine to consume. So saith Galactus, destroyer of worlds. Be gone. Thus decrees Unicron, Chaos Bringer.
Bigger than Earth from that Earth POV. It's not that much bigger. Oh snap. Look at him.
Madness, so quick to beg for Oblivion's embrace. I am Oblivion.
Let me just steady myself. I guess I've never seen like Galactus get into a fight like this before. He just kind of stands there and things happen to him. Like I said, he can get a lot bigger if he wants to. So now he's big enough to just like flick stars. That's crazy. This is loud. This is really loud. There's a lot of sounds happening in this one. I'm sorry. It's pretty cool. I feel like Galactus shows up more often than Unicron does, so I feel like I have more background on Galactus than I do on Unicron. Transforming. Look at that.
Not for mercy, behold blackening sky. Against mine chaos, even gods will die.
Oops. Yeah, looks like Unicron has this. To be honest. Again, I thought Megatron would defeat Frieza, so.
Destruction, pure finality, in first and last, true immortality.
I mean, they're kind of both like indestructible, right?
Return thy dreams into the void where none may hear.
Is that the nullifier?
Not the power which you command. Of course I do. Your death I thus demand.
That's kind of unexpected. Because my mind is like, what can one of them possibly do to defeat the other? Like, if neither one of them can be destroyed by traditional, conventional means, you know what I mean?
I've seen your power, bringer of chaos. Yet by my vigor thou hast much need. Witness the last fate that awaits you thus. For almighty Galactus must now feed.
I don't even know what just happened.
Who could manipulate reality itself and do basically anything.
Older than the universe, unbound by time, they had each other matched in a lot of ways.
So it ultimately came down to which of them was more powerful.
Both could threaten an entire infinite multiverse.
Unicron should scale to characters who can immediately threaten an infinite number of timelines, and the Unicron singularity was stated to affect the approximately 17-dimensional multiverse. However,
But Unicron could only do so over time, devouring them one by one.
While Galactus'
Hmm.
battle with the Scryer and the other
Interesting.
threatened to destroy the entire Marvel multiverse as just a side effect.
Not to mention, Galactus tussles with cosmic.
As a side effect, the multiverse is much larger. That is true. Not only are there infinite timelines and spatial dimensions, but an infinite number of infinite multiverses. Galactus' fight with the other and the Scryer was going to reach oblivion, which exists beyond all of that. Yeah, they talked about like the macrocosm in the Godzilla and Hulk death battle of like each of these pocket worlds and the dimensions that exist. But you would have to believe that in every single universe in the Marvel multiverse, all of these other realms also exist. So like there's a green door for every single Earth, right? For every Hulk. There's a there's a there's a what is it, the White Shore it's called, for every Earth. So like there's an infinite number of infinities, if that makes any sense. It's hard to explain. It doesn't really matter.
Big beings like himself all the time.
While Unicron is usually the top dog in Transformers, he's a big fish in a relatively
Small pond.
relative to Marvel at least.
That might
Yeah.
sound better for Unicron at first, but
Unicron has used dark energy.
Galactus has absorbed the essence of evil beings like Dormammu before and easily resisted his attempt to corrupt him. Dark Energon would be no different. Okay.
Corrupt other beings in the past. Galactus technically doesn't have a soul thanks to his cosmic rebirth from Galen, and he's fed
I don't know what that means.
before, so there's no real reason to think that would work here.
And as lame as it is, the ultimate
That's what I thought it was.
is just really, really
The Griever at the end of all things, an abstract comparable to eternity, and the Never Queen was also threatened by the Ultimate Nullifier. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. This old man Quill? Who's this? Who's that?
overpowered.
Despite Unicron being able to survive the destruction of his spark, the ultimate nullifier is significant.
Unicron has been affected by cosmic weapons similar to the Ultimate Nullifier, like the Star Saber and Terminus Blade, and has no resistance from its power.
Significantly more thorough. Consider the time it was used against Abraxas, a being that embodied the abstract concept of the multiverse's destruction.
Sounds like
What are we talking about?
no. Even against someone like that, the good old Ollie Nolly had no.
Similar reality warping power is much tougher and more powerful. Ultimate Nullifier destroys conceptual beings, resists corruption by Dark Energon. Cosmic hunger drains stamina. Nearly impossible to kill traditionally, but cannot resist the Ultimate Nullifier, weaker than a satiated Galactus, harder to regenerate body. But isn't it like... And this is something else that happens... This is something that happens like in the Deadpool Deathstroke battle that I don't love. Should we give a character something just because they've had it before or because they've encountered it before? If Galactus has used the Ultimate Nullifier before, that's cool, but he doesn't walk around with it in his pocket. You know, like, we can't... It wouldn't be fair to, like, have Batman fight, I don't know, Apocalypse, and say that he beats Apocalypse because one time he had a Batarang that can erase cosmic beings from existence. Like, that's not fair. It's not so... Like, it has, like, random encounter. They just meet each other and they start fighting. You shouldn't give him that. I'm not even saying here that Unicron should win. I don't really care. But like, for Galactus to win because he had the Ultimate Nullifier, what? I don't like that philosophy.
No problem erasing it from reality, and the same would happen to Unicron. While Galactus could always hide in that pocket dimension, just as he escaped the nullifier before.
Unicron was an insanely terrifying threat, but Galactus had the power, experience, and arsenal to ultimately annihilate him.
If you thought Galactus was going down in this fight, you were Unicron.
The winner is Galactus.
Hey, Ultimate Alliance. Yeah, that one was kind of not exactly what I expected it to be. Doesn't necessarily mean that it was bad. For my money, I would prefer it to feel more like a random encounter. I don't like to give characters one-off tools or weapons that they've had before, or even Galactus has crossed paths with the Ultimate Nullifier 100 times. Doesn't matter, because it's not something that he keeps on him that he would just have in this battle. But those are my thoughts on it. What do you guys think? Do you think that, you know, Unicron has something in his kit that they forgot to mention here, that they didn't show? Whatever it is, whatever you think, let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, why don't you suggest another death battle for me to react to? Some of these I kind of pass on because I'm like, is there really a whole lot of interest? Transformers is pretty much evergreen, so I figure this should be fine. Yeah, I'll see you later.